Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something that might just flip your ideas about success upside down?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
We're going to explore this idea called the happiness advantage. It's this concept that happiness isn't what you get after you're successful, but like the secret ingredient to getting there.
Yeah, it's kind of a mind-blowing shift, right? I
Yeah.
always think, got to work, 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 and then we'll be happy. But what if we had it all wrong?
I know, totally counterintuitive, but I'm so ready to have my mind blown. So how do we even start to unpack this whole happiness advantage thing?
Well, Shawn Achor lays it all out in his book. And get this, he's got mountains of research to back it up. Like studies show that happy people are actually more productive at work. Students who focus on the good stuff do better in school, and even doctors.
Wait, hold on, happier
Yep,
doctors?
they make more accurate diagnoses when they're in a good mood. It's wild.
Okay, now that's fascinating. Happier doctors make fewer mistakes. All right, I'm officially interested. So it's not just about feeling good, it actually impacts our performance.
It's huge. And there's even more. Studies have found that happy people tend to have stronger immune systems and live longer. It's like happiness is a superpower.
Okay, you've got my attention. Now, the big question, is this happiness thing something we're born with? Or can we actually learn to be happier?
That's what's so exciting about this. Aker says happiness is a habit, like a skill you can develop and get better at over time. It's not some magical formula. It's about training your brain to focus on the positive.
All right, I like the sound of that. So if happiness is like a muscle we can build, where do we start our workout?
One of the most basic ideas is that our mindset literally shapes our reality. There was this study at the University of Toronto where they showed people the same images, but they put them in different moods before.
Okay, interesting.
And guess what? The happy group could see more details and process the information way better than the group that was feeling down.
So our mood actually changes how we see the world. That's kind of crazy.
It is. When you're happy, your mind is literally more open to seeing possibilities. Aker calls this the broadening effect. It's like happiness gives your brain a wider lens to view the world with.
That makes so much sense. Instead of happiness being the result of seeing the good, it's the key to seeing the good in the first place.
Exactly. And that leads us to Aker's second principle, the fulcrum and the lever. He uses this analogy of a lever, like the one Archimedes was so proud of. You know, the one that lets you move massive objects by shifting the pivot point.
Okay, I think I see where you're going with this. Our minds are like levers, and our mindset is the fulcrum.
Exactly. By changing our mindset like our beliefs and attitudes, we can achieve so much more with the same effort. It's about understanding that our thoughts are incredibly powerful. They can actually shape our reality.
I'm all about the power of positive thinking. But this is starting to sound a bit woo-woo to me. Is there any real science behind this?
Oh, totally. Think about the placebo effect. People actually experience real benefits from a sugar pill just because they believe it's medicine. Their brains turn that belief into a physical reaction.
You're right. So if we believe we're capable of success and happiness, we're more likely to actually achieve it.
Exactly. Aker says our brains can turn heaven into hell and hell into heaven, meaning we have the power to choose how we experience any situation, no matter how tough it might seem.
That's pretty powerful and maybe a little scary. So we have way more control over our happiness than we realize.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It all starts with recognizing the power of your own thoughts and making a conscious choice to focus on the good stuff.
All right, I'm on board with focusing on the positive. But how do we actually rewire our brains to do that? It feels like my mind is constantly bombarded with negative stuff.
But to explain that, Aker uses this fascinating concept called the Tetris Effect. Have you ever played Tetris for hours and then start seeing those falling blocks everywhere you look?
Oh yeah, totally. Been there. It's like your brain gets stuck in Tetris mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Researchers found it's not just Tetris. Whatever we focus on intensely, our brains start to see more of that in the world around us. So if we're dwelling on problems, we're more likely to spot problems. But here's the good news.
Okay, tell me there's good news.
The opposite is true too. If we intentionally focus on the positive stuff, the opportunities, the solutions, the things we're grateful for, our brains will start looking for those things instead.
So instead of being a magnet for traffic jams, I can train my brain to be a magnet for like amazing sunsets.
Exactly. It's about consciously rewiring your brain to see the world through a more optimistic lens. Aker suggests this simple exercise called 3 good things. You just write down 3 positive things that happened each day, no matter how small.
I love that. It's like a daily dose of gratitude.
It is. And by consistently focusing on the good, you're training your brain to become more attuned to positivity.
Okay, I'm adding 3 good things to my to-do list right now. But what about when things inevitably go wrong? How do we deal with those unavoidable setbacks without letting them crush our happiness?
That's where falling up comes in. It's Achor's principle for tuning those failures into fuel for growth. It's all about how we respond to those setbacks that determines whether we're strengthened by them or defeated by them.
Yeah, bouncing back from failure is definitely easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Achor uses this really interesting study to show how our mindset can either trap us or set us free. These researchers taught dogs to associate a bell with a mild electric shock. After a while, even when the dogs were in a cage where they could easily escape the shock, they wouldn't even try. They had learned to be helpless, believing there was no point in trying.
Oh, that's so sad. But I see how it connects to our own lives. We can get stuck in a negative mindset and not even see the solutions right in front of us.
Exactly. Achor contrasts this with a story about two shoe salesmen who were sent to Africa in the early 1900s. One guy saw a hopeless situation because nobody wore shoes. The other guy saw a glorious opportunity to sell shoes to everyone.
Aha, I love that. Same situation, totally different perspective.
And that's the essence of falling up. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about choosing to see those setbacks as challenges to overcome, as opportunities for growth and learning.
So instead of saying, I failed, I should be asking, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. And that shift in thinking can make all the difference in our ability to bounce back and reach our goals.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty fired up about all this positivity, but sometimes I get so overwhelmed by everything I'm trying to do that it's hard to even know where to start. How do we avoid getting bogged down by those big goals and aspirations?
That's a great question. It leads us to Achor's principle of the Zorro circle. Remember how Zorro's mentor makes him practice his sword fighting in a small circle before letting him expand?
Yeah, he has to master those basic skills in a small space before he can take on bigger challenges.
It's the same with our goals. When we break down those huge, scary objectives into smaller, more manageable steps, we create Zorro circles areas where we can build confidence and competence.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by climbing the whole mountain, I should focus on conquering the first hill.
Exactly. By focusing on those smaller circles of competence, you get a sense of control and accomplishment, which makes you want to keep going. Small wins build momentum.
I like that. Makes taking action way less intimidating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're building happiness habits, reframing failures, and breaking down goals. What else can we do to boost our happiness and success?
Well, here's something that might surprise you. One of the most important things is nurturing your social connections.
Wait, seriously. I know hanging out with friends and family is fun, but is it really that important for success?
It really is. There's this landmark study from Harvard. It's one of the longest running studies on human happiness. And they found that the single biggest predictor of happiness is the quality of our relationships. Feeling loved, supported, and connected to others is crucial for our well-being. And that well-being fuels our success in all areas of life.
Wow, I never realized how much social connection impacts our overall well-being.
It's huge. Investing in our relationships is just as important as investing in our careers or finances. It's about creating a support system that helps us thrive.
So it's not about isolating myself to get more work done. It's about nurturing those bonds with the people I care about. Okay, I'm on board with that. But how do we turn all these amazing principles into lasting habits? I'm terrible at starting with good intentions and then fizzling out after a week or two.
I hear you. That's where Achor's last principle comes in,
Mm.
the 20-second rule. It's about making it easier to do the things you want to do and harder to do the things you don't want to do.
All right, you've got my attention. Tell me more about this 20-second rule.
Okay, so
It's about lowering that activation energy for good habits
yeah,
and making it harder to slip into bad ones, right?
exactly. Achor uses this great example. He was trying to learn guitar. He knew he should practice every day, but kept putting it off. Then he realized that just getting the guitar out of his case was like a barrier.
Makes sense.
So he just left it in the living room right where he'd see it and then be more tempted to play.
So just that little change actually helped.
It did. Taking away that initial friction made it easier to start practicing, and that consistency helped him build the habit.
Wow, so it's not all about willpower. We can actually use our environment to nudge ourselves in the right direction. I like that. It feels so much more doable.
Exactly. It's about figuring out small changes in your surroundings that can help you reach your happiness goals.
Hmm.
What can you rearrange or tweak to make those positive behaviors more automatic?
My mind is already going crazy with ideas. Moving the fruit bowl to eye level, putting my running shoes by the door, scheduling walks with a friend. So many possibilities.
Exactly. Those little tweaks can have a huge impact on your happiness and success over time.
This is seriously amazing. It's like a crash course in hacking my own happiness. What are your thoughts? What stands out to you as the most valuable takeaway?
For me, the most powerful message is that we have so much more control over our happiness than we think. It's not something we have to chase forever. It's a choice we can make every single day. By building these positive habits, changing our mindset, and really taking care of our relationships, we create this ripple effect of happiness that impacts every area of our lives.
I love that. It's about taking ownership of our happiness and realizing that it's not a destination, it's a journey, and we get to choose how we travel.
Exactly. And that journey begins with awareness,
Hmm.
paying attention to your thoughts and behaviors, and seeing the patterns that might be holding you back from more happiness.
So true awareness is that first step. But sometimes just knowing isn't enough. We need actual strategies to change those patterns.
Absolutely. And that's what's so great about Achor's work.
Yeah.
He doesn't just say, be more positive. He gives you real tools and techniques you can use to actually cultivate happiness in your everyday life.
Like the 3 good things exercise and the 20-second rule. I can already see how powerful those are. But gotta be honest, I'm a bit of a skeptic. Do we have any proof that these principles actually work?
We do. Achor's work is all based on solid research. There are tons of studies that show the real-world impact of positive psychology on everything from productivity and creativity to resilience and just overall well-being.
That's good to know. I'm always more likely to believe something if there's data to back it up. It's not just some feel-good fluff, it's a science-backed approach to happiness.
Exactly. Achor is very thorough. He combines his own personal experiences with insights from psychology, neuroscience, even behavioral economics to build a really strong case for the power of happiness.
That's what I love about this deep dive. It's not just some vague concepts. It's about actual insights we can use in our own lives.
And what's really cool is that these principles aren't just for individuals. They can be applied to teams, organizations, even whole communities. Imagine a workplace where everyone was focused on cultivating happiness.
That would be a game changer. Think of the impact on productivity, collaboration, and just how much people enjoy their jobs.
It's huge.
Hmm.
Acre has actually worked with a lot of companies helping them create more positive and supportive environments. And the results have been amazing. Employees are more engaged, more creative, and more productive.
Sounds like everyone wins. Happier employees, better results for the company. I can definitely see how this happiness advantage could change the way we work and live.
It really could.
Yeah.
And it's not just about external success, it's about that deeper sense of fulfillment and meaning in our lives. It's about creating a life that truly aligns with our values and purpose.
That's what really resonates with me. It's not about chasing those fleeting moments of pleasure. It's about building a life that feels meaningful and joyful.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's about finding that joy in the journey, not just the destination. And that's something we can all work towards no matter what our circumstances are.
So it's about focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our relationships, and letting go of the things we can't.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to see the world through a lens of possibility, even when things are tough.
This has been so inspiring and thought-provoking. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on happiness and success. It's like this weight has been lifted.
That's so great to hear. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to embrace the happiness advantage in their own lives, too.
Absolutely. As we've been talking, I've been thinking about all the small things I can do to change my mindset and bring more happiness into my everyday life. I'm definitely making 3 good things a regular part of my routine. And I'm going to be more aware of my self-talk, catching myself when I start going down that negative spiral.
Those are great steps. And remember, it's not about being happy all the time. That's just not realistic. It's about building resilience, learning to bounce back from challenges, and focusing on what really matters.
You're right. It's about embracing the whole human experience, the ups, the downs, everything.
Exactly. And recognizing that even in the tough times, there are always things to be grateful for, moments of joy and opportunities to grow and learn.
This deep dive has been such a powerful reminder that happiness is a choice, a skill we can actually develop, and a journey worth taking.
So well said. And as we wrap up our exploration of the happiness advantage, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. What's one small change you can make today to boost your happiness and unlock your potential?
It's such a great question. It's all about taking action, even if it's just a tiny step in the right direction.
Because those tiny actions can create a ripple effect, leading to bigger and more positive changes over time.
I love that, and I can't wait to see the incredible things our listeners will do when they tap into this happiness advantage. I have a feeling some amazing ripples are about to be set in motion.
Those ripples, they don't just impact us though, right? They spread out to everyone around us.
That's what I find so fascinating. If I'm happier, if I'm more fulfilled, that positive energy can actually rub off on the people around me, my family, my friends, the people I work with. It's like this chain reaction of happiness.
Exactly. Achor talks about this idea of the social contagion of happiness.
Yeah.
Studies actually show that happiness is contagious. Like, if you're around positive people, you're more likely to feel happy yourself.
So it's not selfish to prioritize our own happiness. It's actually a gift we give to the people around us.
I love that. By making our own happiness a priority, we become like these little beacons of positivity, inspiring others to do the same.
That's a beautiful thought. Imagine a world where everyone is trying to be a little bit happier, a little bit kinder, a little bit more optimistic. What a difference that would make.
It would be incredible. It's about creating a culture of well-being where we support each other's growth and celebrate each other's successes.
This whole deep dive has been a game changer for me. I feel like I have a renewed sense of hope and all these new tools to create a happier, more meaningful life, not just for myself, but for everyone around me.
That's wonderful to hear. And as we wrap up our exploration of the happiness advantage, I want to leave you with one last thought to think about. If happiness really is a choice, what choices will you make today to create a more joyful, fulfilling life for yourself and the people you love?
What a powerful question to end on. It reminds us that we're not just waiting around for happiness to happen. We can actually create it. So let's get out there and start making those positive ripples. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep those happiness muscles strong.